Hey everybody, how are you doing? Happy day. Now what's up guys, it's CC, our ChristyCritter over on Twitch. I wanted to go ahead and give you guys the guild's next installment of our Sunken Temple. So as promised, we attempted the Sunken Temple again as a guild on the 14th of April. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had a pretty good comp as you guys will hopefully see throughout the video. And yeah, we got farther than we did the first time. So if you watched my last video, which if you haven't, you should definitely check it out. If you watched the last video, we got through the first the first boss. That was it. We just got through the first boss. We got to the second boss, and unfortunately, we were not prepared for that fight with the ooze. But yeah, we were able to make it through all the way to the Dreamer. And I'm pretty proud of how our guild did. So as you are fully aware, hopefully, there is a lot of trash in this dungeon. So yeah, to save time and to make this video a bit more enjoyable, I definitely cut some of the content and definitely sped it up. So I hope that you guys enjoy the video, and if you have any lingering thoughts on how we did or what we can do better, I'm always open to suggestions, always open to comments. But yeah, I hope that you guys enjoy this video and watch us kick some Sunken Temple butt. All right. All right, yeah, so let's get into the first fight of the Sunken Temple. If you remember from my last video, we died a lot, and I didn't record the entire, encounter because I think we died like 3 or 4 times, and it took a very long time just to get through the first fight. However, in this one, we had a very clean fight. It was a tank and span, it was one and done. It was over before it started. No, but I definitely feel like I got more comfortable with how the mechanics work for this fight. I was able to shift into bear more regularly when I remembered it. And yeah, overall, it felt really clean. So we were able, as you can see, to knock him down pretty quickly. And it should be no surprise to anybody that I didn't get a single piece of loot for this fight, which is okay. But afterwards, we made our way over to our ooze friend, right? Now, this was the fight that kicked our ass. So this is the fight that we just kind of gave up on. It was late and we were done. I don't even think I recorded it because it was that it was that bad. But yeah, this time around, we definitely had a better strategy going into the fight. So yeah, when we finally got there, we knew what we were doing, and hopefully it shows. For the mechanic this time around, what we did is we had melee on the left, and we were standing with the tank, our pally tank, and then range on the right, and they were standing with the warlock tank. And if we needed to be dispelled, we stayed where we were. If we did not need to be dispelled, we moved into the middle. Now, the thing that, the reason that was a bit more, I guess, a bit more advantageous for our group mechanic was when you are poisoned or when you have the disease. It's not a poison. When you have the disease, if you go slower. So before we were trying to go with, if you're poisoned, go in the middle, right? Well, by the time we would get to the middle, we would die, right? Thinking back, yes, obviously that plan might have been a little bit less than, desirable, a little less efficient than it probably sounds, now with the strategy that we did do. But at the time, that was kind of what we were going for. And then so melee, we focus on getting the things on the wall, and the range obviously focused on that DPS. So, and then once the boss was stopped and, stationary, we went in and we did as much DPS as we could. So we were able to get through this fight in a single blow. We didn't have to do it multiple times, which is great. And for anyone curious, no, I still didn't get any loot. I don't think. So let's check out and see if that was the case. Okay, so yeah, so that boss fight, I also didn't get any loot, but that's okay. I do know that at some point in the raid, I got the Mark of the Wild, codex book, so I can do a group Mark of the Wild, which was really nice. And someone immediately offered me 100 gold for it in the party, and I obviously turned it down because I also want it for myself. It just makes buffing a lot easier. So, anyways, I did get that at some point. I just don't think I caught it on camera. And if I did, I think I sped it up. In any case, the next fight that we had was our gauntlet fight. This is the third boss encounter. It's the Talai defenders. So in this one, there are 6 bosses that you are put up against. There's Gasher, Zolo, Zulor, Loro, Mijan, and Huku, and each of them have their own ability Gasher, he has like a stacking buff, which makes him fast, which isn't a big issue for me since I have agility as a cat. I can run faster. He also has spinning axe, so he does minor cleave. And then Zolo has chain lightning. Zulor has like frailty or whatever. He can like reduce attributes to like people around him, which it can be dispelled. Loro has a demoralizing shout, and it just makes my attack power reduced by 40. And then Mijan has like druid spells, so like thorns, renew. He also summons totem, so shaman. And then Huku has a curse of blood, so it just increases how much damage is taken. But with these guys, the strategy here is obviously it's a gauntlet, right? So the fight goes on for 6 rounds. But when you are fighting the bosses, every time they die, the boss will summon an undead version of themselves, and they can be shackled, so that way they don't cause as many problems. So we had our priest shackling the bosses every time we would bring one down, and we had, well, not just a priest, but anyone that could shackle, right? Anyone that could CC or crowd control, we had them crowd controlling. So we made sure that each one of our people that could crowd control had a designated boss, as you can see in the background there. We did have a couple of issues with some pets and Living Flame interrupting the shackles. But other than that, we were able to kind of keep them pretty much tamed. And then, I don't know if you noticed, but at this point, I was having one of the mages who was DPS asking me to innervate them. So I was getting like distracted because I was trying to innervate and not die, but I was able to get them innervated. So that way they were able to get some more mana back. So this boss fight was actually fairly easy, as long as you CC them. The biggest issue was at the end of the fight, we all had to immediately run to the wall, as you notice here. That way we wouldn't start the next encounter, which sucks because, you know, they'll eventually despawn and you have to loot the boss. So our tank ended up having to loot the boss after the fact. And I think she missed out on something for her class, which sucks. Now, I'm going to be fully transparent with you. The next fight really messed us up. We died 3 times, or 2 times, before we finally got it right. So, the next one is the dragon, the first set of dragons. So it's Dream Scythe and Weaver. So, on paper, this fight is fairly easy, right? Dream Scythe will come down first. You'll fight him. At 80%, it'll switch over to Weaver. And then I think at 60%, it'll go down to both. They share a health pool. You just bring down one dragon. It brings down both, right? What the problem is that we kept getting booped, right? Which, we figured out pretty early on that we want to make sure that we kind of stay towards the middle, so that way we can pass over the hole. But the breath just kept kicking our butt. Like, the corrosive breath was really what I think did us in the first couple of times until we got the mechanic down. It wasn't like a difficult fight. It was just a matter of like getting the mechanics like adjusted till like we were able to, get them down. The nice thing about this boss fight, though, is even though they're dragons, they don't have like a tail attack, which a lot of the dragons do. So we were able to stay behind them. But sometimes people would pull aggro, and we would just get booped with that acid breath, and it was pretty gnarly. But yeah, overall, this fight wasn't too terrible once we got the hang of it. It sucks that we died twice, but live and learn, right? That's the whole point of World of Warcraft. I don't know if I got loot on this. At some point, I do get loot, and I get. Oh, see, there's me dying to the acid. At some point, I do get loot. I got my best in slot boots, so that was really nice to see. But But yeah, I wanted to show you guys, a true representation of us dying, so that way you guys can see what it looks like when we do it well. So enjoy us not messing up the third time around. You ever have a room of trash that feels like it should have been a boss fight? Because that's what this room is. It took me like a hot minute to remember like this room in particular from Classic and just how much I hated it until I saw the bodies drop, and I was like, oh yeah, these death walkers or whatever, they will come back to life as a ghost and they will ruin your day. So that's what happened. I think it also took our group a collective hot minute to figure out the mechanic as well. But once we did, we were able to clear the room pretty quickly, pretty easily. And we were able to make our way downtown to our next fight, which was with our buddies, Jamalin and Ogum. So this fight was actually relatively like straightforward. It's pretty easy. You have two guys just hanging out with one another, and I think if I remember correctly, like switches like what between like weeks, like who do you have to target first. In this case, we had to kill Jamalin first, and then we followed up with Ogum. So we were able to bring down Jamalin, and then, as I said, finish off with Ogum. So Ogum, I don't think he's like the hard one. I think he just has a daunt that makes life difficult. But Jamalin is our resident priest of the Sunken Temple, and he has like Holy Fire, Holy Nova, all that stuff. He also has like I feel like he also had Consecrate, or maybe I'm just making that up, but somebody definitely was knocking my ass out and like making me stunned in place. But in any case, this was a pretty easy fight once we were able to kite him around the room. And once we brought down Jamalin, we were able to bring down Ogum, because one of them is immune until you kill the other. Yeah, it's all convoluted. I don't know. I was just told who to kill, and I said yes, ma'am, because our tank is a chick. So yeah, I just winged it. As you can probably tell in this entire dungeon, I just winged it. So yeah, pretty fun fight. Let you guys check it out if you want. Here we go. Yeah, see? It wasn't that bad. Yeah, so after we beat him, as you probably noticed, I cut a couple things out because we were, at this point of the raid, we were like doing BRBs, bio, whatever, right? So we made our way to our next friend, or friends, which were Morphaz and Hazaz. They are our second pair of Dragos. They are really similar to the Lord Kelris fight in Black Fathom Deep. If you guys remember that for Season of Discovery. There's like a physical realm where you will face Hazaz, and then a dream realm, which is occupied by Morphaz. That's a hard word for me to say. So when you pull up to the boss, you're going to first face Hazaz, and then you'll be teleported to the dream realm to face Morphaz. They share the same health pool, but you deal 100% more damage when you're fighting Morphaz. And then you can have one person tanking if you want to avoid the dream route. Otherwise, you should have 2 tanks. In this case, what we did was we had 2 tanks, and we avoided the dream realm in general. So once the boss got down to a certain percentage, he started like moving towards the center, and then he summoned little flames. And the flames are how would I explain it? So with the flames, you want to like you beat them down, right? And then you stand in the fire. Once you get like the fire, you have like a speed buff, and so like you run really fast. And that buff is supposed to be so if someone accidentally gets slipped into the dream realm, you can wake them up, bring them back. But we had the entire raid stand in the fire, get that buff or debuff, right, so that we didn't get sent to the realm, and proceed as normal. So everyone stayed above ground. And then at 30%, he sends everyone down to the realm, and we have to DPS check and kill our friend in the dream realm before he finishes his cast, or instant kill. So that was fun. We did wipe on this boss. The first time I did the fight, I think you'll notice here, I had no idea that you were supposed to stand in the fire once. They didn't explain it to the best of my ADHD ability. I thought you had to keep standing in the fire, so I literally kept running back and forth between the fire. It was kind of funny. Eventually, I learned that don't do that, right? So as you are probably seeing here, this was like our third time trying this fight, and we were able to get it down pat. So the first time we died because people weren't understanding the fire mechanic. The second time we didn't DPS check fast enough. The third time we were able to knock it out. So yeah, it was a pretty fun fight overall. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we ended. Yeah, we did not beat Eranikus. We attempted him 4 times, and then afterwards we were all tired. But I do have a Thursday raid coming up, so we are gonna kick his ass for sure. If you can get past Eranikus, the last boss is a walk in the park. He's a piece of cake. He might be stale cake, but he's a piece of cake. In any case, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I know this 30-minute video. Let me know if you guys like this content. Let me know if you guys want me to do something different. I do stream, as I mentioned, on TikTok. No, I don't. On Twitch. I stream on Twitch on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. So please be sure to check me out. I do have some new Twitch content coming out. I'm going to be starting a brand new game. We're going to be playing Mass Effect, the entire trilogy. My husband is obsessed with it, and he told me that I must play it. So we are going to be doing that. I hope that you guys will catch me on my Twitch, and if not, follow me on my socials, and just make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. I appreciate you guys so much. Be kind to yourself, be kind to one another, and I'll see you later. Bye!